Hi guys, here's an alcove. How am I going to change this from an empty alcove space here and change it to this? They're 2.7 high or 9 feet. Actually, if you want to see the scale or how high they are compared to me, I'll put the camera down and I'll go and stand next to them. So let's go back in time. Let's go back to the workshop and we'll make these. I'll do it step by step and I'll show you how I did the cornicing, how I did the fluted columns. You've already saw me making a video on how I make the doors, how I template the shape of the alcove, because a lot of these alcoves in my set, in fact alcoves in general, are all over the place. You're going to find that they're squint and skewed and they're all over the place. There's no two the same. Anyway, let's get back to the workshop. Let's rewind time. Whoa, 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 whoa.
This week I'm going to make a pair of fitted alcove units, a bit like the ones that I've got at the back of the shop actually. In fact, these ones at the back of the shop are half-scale models of ones that I've done in the past. And here they are, you can see them. And it's very typical of me, of that sort of style. And it sort of copies in my cities here in North East of Scotland. It copies their architecture design that you see on some of the buildings up and down the city centre, Union Street. I'll hit here a drive-by sometime. You might see a wee clap coming up. But anyway, I'm going to make two of these alcove units. It's a paint finish, and here's a picture. So you can freeze that and print it out. Not sure why you would want to do that. But as always, I go to the house and I take a template of the shape of the alcove. Now I use a hot glue gun and I use thin bits of plywood so I can get the exact shape, because I'm sure it's the same all over Britain, that these alcoves are like ski whiff, let's say, in Scotland. So now that's my template. There it is. And from there I will then put onto a sheet of plasterboard. I buy a whole sheet of plasterboard simply for drawing on. I mean, one time I used to be able to pick up a sheet of plasterboard for £3 a sheet, and now they're like treble that price. But it's a perfect board to do a one-to-one drawing on it, because there's so much parts in this alcove that you need to do a one-to-one drawing.
It's hard to get it off my searching mind. Maybe I will never learn to find the right words when I want to pull you right back in the same way I always do my part. I try to make it stay.
Here it is. This is me marking a one-to-one drawing, and here is the skirting on the job, and that's it going into the alcove, and that's the alcove there, and that's coming back in. Always draw on the skirting, because some of these skirtings are quite fancy. I mean, look, here's a profile. That's the profile of a skirting. I'm not sure if you can see that. So, and one thing I never do, cut into my skirting in a house just so that I can fit something. It should be the other way about. It should be the fitting itself should be cut, not the fixings and fittings of a house. You know the big fancy coving that you get up in top? I've seen people fit bedrooms and knock some of the really beautiful coving just so that they can get in a bit of chipboard or their MDF, and I think that's terrible. So don't do that. Anyway, so here's a column at one side, like the picture that I showed you, and that's there to hinge. I'll write that on so that I know. It's my hinge post. Hinge post. Now I don't want to mark these in black because I need to have my pencil lines thin as possible so that I can measure from. And that's the door, it's double doors. And here is the other column and a hinge post. Now I've got an exact size, and I can make my worktop, and I can also make a shelf that fits in. So the more that you do here in a shop, the less that you do on a job. And you joiners, you know what it's like when you get to the job and you find yourself having to cut things or drill holes or anything like that. These things that you could have done in the shop, they're quite annoying. So you want to do so much in the workshop that it gets to be a delivery, so that you're just delivering it, and just a wee bit of fit, and that's it. Well, crack on, I'll go and make this now. Method that I use to make these flutes that you see here and up above, you see that quite a lot, and these swirls, well obviously I make these on the lathe, but to do these I sort of got this set up, and I've just set it up just now. Side. Mark, this is a column here. I've not put on the swirl first, I'll get a swirl. Oh, look at the state of this workshop, this is really messy. It's a messy workshop. Here's a swirl. And the lathe here. It's sort of like, I got this method so that I can just slip in a bit. This is MDF, sometimes it's no, and that just goes on there. Switch it on. I've got a mark setting, whatever it is. So that's that. So this is my swirl. I call them swirls. Some people call them rosettes. Now that will eventually get glued onto here. That's why you see it slightly protruding. And in order to do the flutes, I set up this system where I've marked the first one. It's normally about 25 millimeters. So that's the start. And of course that comes off of a stop. So that when I'm running it, when I put it on, I'll go up against the edge, the first edge, is that one, push it down, run it over, and then when it hits that stop, I'll lift it up, and that's that one done. And that's for the first one, and then the second one, so I add another one of these, that's for the next one, and that goes against there, and so forth. So if I just put the camera at one side, and you can watch me run it, and you can see it for real. Instruction. Contact. Section here to keep that nice and flat, and do it quickly so that this can seat better. It sits nicely, it gets glued, and often I could fix through there if I wanted to fix into a side of a column. I could sometimes leave these off so they can fix through it, and then that just glues back on. But my method of removing this section is this device that I've made here. I'll take this camera there. Basically, in there is a cutter. I'm not sure if you'll see it. Here's a cutter there, and it's raised up the depth that I need for out of there. It's so good to have so many routers in the workshop. In each one I can dedicate for a specific task. And this one's good for doing rebates. So this was an old router table I had from back in the 90s. And I've developed this slide fence here so that I can put this along there. And it slides. Of course, I need to have a setting for it. There for a second. My setting, the way I set it is, I know the size of this. It happens to be measure 365 millimeters down. Mark it. In fact, I'll go and actually do one. That's one side. Here's it. Here's one that's yet to be done. So if I measure 365 millimeters, mark it there, and I can just square that across. And I've got this device where I can slip that on there like so. Set it to the line. In the back of it, excuse my thumb, I whacked that with my hammer. Doesn't matter how old you get, you still hit your thumb with a hammer. So that goes on there, a couple of screws just to hold it in place. That's it there. Set the extraction up, so I've got a wee extraction that fits into there, which is piped through into my extraction system, which is over there. So now I'm ready. So this can actually go up against here, up against the fence, and the whole thing slides and cuts it. And I can work it in, so I don't need to do it all in one chunk. I can work it in gently so that I'm not taking it off. I'll set a camera up and I'll actually do it. Yes. Extraction on. Very neat, it's very flat and very quick. So that's what I do. But of course, the big spindle machines, they could take that out in one pass. But when you've got a small workshop and you're using small machines, that's the method to do it. So it's my method. Alright, day 2. Now look at the state of my workshop. That is messy. It doesn't take long for it to get messy when you're working on a job. So I'm going to set a camera up and you're going to watch me tidy up. So I'll put the camera high, up out the road, you can watch me tidying up. So let's see the transformation. I've got the van there with the back doors open, ready to load rubbish in, and we'll go to the tip. But for now, I'm just going to tidy up, listen to some music and get cracking.
Yeah. Yeah.
it, guys. Look at this. Nice tidy workshop, or as tidy as I can make it. And I know the saying, tidy workshop, tidy brain. So it helps me work a wee bit better. I can crack on with the job now. It was just getting on top of me. But I've got like, that's the base unit. The doors. And you saw how I made the doors. So that's it. The weekend's come.
That's it, folks. That'll do for this section. Please like and subscribe and join me in the next part, and I'll show you how I put the corners together. Thanks for watching.